Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Primetime. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to a brand new week here on Ways Breakfast. Hashtag What Are You Saying? Where we start your mornings with the stories, conversations, and insights that matter. My name is Omenka Oluchi Precious, and with me at the table are my amazing co-anchors, Chioma Kalu, Idehen Goodness, and Ololade Akimboye. Now, imagine a Nigeria where our lecturers can access low-interest loans without drowning in bank charges, and our retirees can walk into a hospital without worrying about out-of-pocket costs. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, the federal government says it's not just a dream, it is the plan. And this morning, we're diving into two brand new welfare programs for tertiary institution staff and low-income retirees. We'll ask the big question, is this the relief Nigerians have been waiting for? Or will it be another good idea lost in execution? But before we head straight to the major conversation for today, let's meet our ladies this beautiful Monday morning. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
Ooh, I like that. Firstly, I think I want to appreciate everybody's beauty. You're looking so dazzling. Honestly, but how was your weekend, though? It's the start of a new week. How do you feel this morning? Who wants to go first? Let me start with the newbie on this table. Not really the newbie, but we didn't see you last week here. So how was your weekend?
My weekend was very eventful. Yeah, I think I only had time to rest last night.
Really eventful then.
A lot of birthdays, a lot of
weddings. Did you follow Chivido wedding? Who followed Chivido wedding here?
I can't be pressured, so I
You
didn't.
can't be pressured. You don't have to follow from a point of pressure, but from a point of appreciation. Like, this money, I saw one comment saying money na water. Because that phrase is making sense.
When you see the caliber of people that came.
I went for the wedding.
The one that even shattered my table was when the video came out to say that it's $3.7 million. I took my calculator immediately and I was seeing billions of naira for just white wedding. They've spent more for their tradition.
Have you seen the wristwatch? While I was coming, I saw the wristwatch he gave her. The wristwatch alone is $300,000.
Interesting. So let's do this together. We're going to make this money.
We're going to make this money together.
And that's on period. All right, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we're diving into the headline stories today. You do not want to miss anything that we have stored for you today. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. All right, welcome back, our valued viewers. I'd love to hear your insights and perspectives on everything that we have for you today. Remember, you are the main ingredient in all of our conversations. And of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Our phone lines are open. Please call us on 0702-500-7749 or 0701-424-2420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it is at Official Upgrade TV. Click the subscribe button now, like, share the link, tune in to channel 145 on your Go TV, and do not miss this for anything. We'll take a look at the papers this morning. We have the Tribune, we have the Guardian, the Punch, and of course the Daily Trust. And starting with the Punch would be Chama.
All right, so looking at the Punch papers, stories making headlines. The first would be flood crisis. FG predicts more devastation in 15 states. We have India buys Nigerian crude as Dangote imports U.S. oil. We have states hit by a 68% spike in foreign debt payment. EFCC arrests 93 suspects for internet fraud in Ogun State. FG launches e-fiscal platform to crack down on tax evasion. Another U.S.-based Nigerian jailed 5 years for rape. And finally, Rivers local government poll umpire under fire amidst ADC-APC attacks. All right, I think my story of interest would be the flood crisis. Right, I mean, I think we have gone through this for the longest I can remember. I think since I started this profession, we have been talking about flood. Do you understand? And for every year, NEMA comes out to tell us, oh, this is our prediction. This is the places that will be affected. But then it's as though we relax and wait till the flood actually comes, right? I looked up the stats, and I found out that over 49,000 people are displaced currently as a result of the flood. So what do we do with the data NEMA gives us? Every year we encounter this. Every single year people are forced out. I'm going to reference the Lagos State Commissioner of Environment, Wahab. He said the other day that people that live in Lekki, people that live in Ajegunle should move. And I'm like, excuse me, I get it, you're looking out for your people, but where's the provision? Where's the provision for it? As of April, I think the federal government released 15 billion, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, let me get that right. Yes, 15 billion in April. And as I think 1st of August, another 10 billion was added, right, to mitigate the effects of this. What are you mitigating? Like, are you building new houses in the uplands? You know, what are you doing exactly? And I don't even blame them altogether. I blame the residents as well, right? You already know the situation, but then we still, not we, because I don't do it. You see your drainage system, your gutter as your receptacle where you dispose refuse. It doesn't make any sense. You're blocking the channels. We already have a very poor urban planning. So people just build anywhere. You're building on drainages, nobody's really thinking about that. And then the little drainage you have, you're filling it up. Why would flood not come into your house? So I think beyond telling us the stats, beyond dishing out money that we don't have, we should actually give accountability. We should be accountable for these funds that we push out and really use it, right? Build houses in uplands if that is what it's going to take. Pull down structures if you must. But let human lives, properties not be damaged at every flooding season.
You've spoken so well, Chama, and it takes me back to last week because I think on this table I was almost moved to tears talking about this whole flood story. And when you mentioned statistics, what came to my mind is that across different sectors in Nigeria, we have the researchers and the data analysts coming up with the numbers, the prediction, what should happen or not. And I think that is human wisdom to help us properly plan. But we do not use it for that purpose. It's not just this flooding stuff that you see a lot of numbers flying up and down. In every sector, they'll tell you this is what we're predicting with inflation, with economics, with everything. There's always prediction. But what do we do with the numbers and with the figures? We just look at it, stare at it without adequate planning. I said that with the way our climate is, we expect to see flood every year. So before next year flood will come, what are we doing from now to ensure that people, like you mentioned, thousands of people that have been displaced, to ensure that we're not having that? But it's just like what? Talking to people
like
that
you
are
said,
not
the
listening.
fire brigade approach.
Fire brigade approach, which is quite insulting.
I'm sorry to add. So
Nigerians.
I took the pain, right, of visiting some internally displaced people. I think in 2022 or 2023, I can't remember. Somewhere in Bayelsa. I think I used to live in Port Harcourt then, but I had to do a report, so I went there. First of all, we went on a boat because the flood, you could literally see people's roofs, right? And then we get to the school where these people are kept. If you see the living condition, and then we came with some, of course, relief materials to share, food and stuff. And these people are begging us, Madam, I beg, make una share and by una save. The people where una live in charge, you know, go reach us. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So it's not only that these people are moved out of their houses, they don't have a source of livelihood, and then even philanthropists that want to help out with food, there's still politics that happen in the IDPs. It's a crazy, I don't know.
It's also an issue that
but we really have to move away from the story. So we'll touch other details in the papers. Let's have the Punch.
All right, let's have the Tribune newspaper, and let's talk about the major stories that we have here. The first one that I want to mention before I start talking about it is as regards from the Senate. They said that 61 requests have been received on people wanting to approve new states creation. I'm going to be talking about that. And then we have, in respect to banditry, police deploy squad to Kwara community. This is a very sad one. And then the next one is 2027. PDP may unveil zoning formula, August 25. And then we have another one here, and as regards the strike, health workers to get 7-month salary arrears by the end of August. Now, let me go to the part where I am interested in is as regards, people coming out to say that they want more states. And according to Senate, they have 61 requests for the creation of new states. And then I am wondering, why we have 61 requests of 61 states, to add to this number of states that we have presently in Nigeria. We have 36 states presently in Nigeria, and then we want to add to that. And then I'm trying to think about, the politics that would play out in this. And then if there is actually a need, and then the reason for the need, of course, we might look at, we might talk about ethnicity, we might talk about, some underdeveloped areas. You know that in certain states, you get to some part that attention is not paid, much attention is not paid to them, like the way you have it in other parts of the state. So some of them might be clamoring for the creation of a new state so that they can stay alone, so that they can get federal allocations and all of that. However, let's talk about, just like I said, the federal allocation. The people that are coming to clamor for the creation of new states are definitely not people like us, are definitely not people who are still finding it hard to survive or finding it hard to struggle. And the people that are clamoring for the creation of these new states are definitely these same people that by the time they do these states, are we sure that we are going to get what we want? Are we sure that they're actually going to give them? And do we even really need it? Because that's the question that I keep asking. I don't know, because I'm wondering, do we really need the creation of more states? Is that the next thing? I mean, we just talked about some 10 billion naira that was given. And now we are seeing 61 requests of new states, which brings me to say that some of us, most Nigerians, everybody at the end of, almost everybody, or quite the number of persons, are after, what will be good for them, what will benefit them, and all of that. So I don't really know, and I don't really know what to tell the Senate to do to the request that they have on ground.
We've discussed this over time, I think, previously, and we had someone who we interviewed that gave his own opinion concerning the creation of states, which he said he buy into it because we have some states that was just managed with one governor, and it's quite larger, unlike some other states where it's quite minute and they have like several heads there.
And they're not able
so
to
for
pay
them to
attention
create,
to some.
to create different local government or different creation of states with different more local government areas that could cover some parts, mostly the grassroots level.
One time someone said that instead of focusing on states, that if you could just make it more local, like you just mentioned,
local
have one local
government.
government, because there are actually states that are Like you can find one big state and you can break out 3 states.
Yeah, I talked about Oyo State.
Exactly, like Oyo. I think even in the north, states like
he said in the
Kano,
north they
Kano,
have
that's-
more of local government.
Exactly. So if you can break them into smaller chunks, and I think the whole
pay
reason why
more
they're even
attention.
clamoring for this, because money is not getting to them.
Money is not getting. That's why I mentioned the allocation.
Exactly.
Money is not getting to them. So if they can pay attention to the local government, I think it will be
See,
better.
get better. This conversation has not ended because we've been talking about it. We still keep talking about it. I'm sure it is going to spill over to next year.
Right.
Let's see what the Daily Trust has for us.
All right, so moving to the Daily Trust this morning. It's a beautiful story all around the front pages. Below the masthead, it started with the foreign scene that says, Israel's Gaza seizure plan, another calamity, says the United Nations. And beside that, we have options for banks as recapitalization pressure mounts. We have hoodlums attack truck driver and burned vehicle in Imo State as the Daily Trust leads with residents flee Kwara villages over attacks. With the rider, federal government deploys fighter jets to chase away terrorists. I like that fast approach to that. And below the newspaper, we have the presidency dispels Tinubu's illness rumor. And then below we have other stories, which I'll just be taking the first story, which I said earlier, that the presidency dispels Tinubu's illness rumor. We have the ICIR, that's the International Center for Investigative Reporting, which had from their sources that the preparations to take the president outside the country for a medical attention has been a preparation underway, and according to the information gathered by the ICIR, the president had reported being bedridden for several days. So I'm wondering, where is this, will I call it a rumor or a news or a story coming from, resulting in his absence from key state functions? Instead, we have the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, who has been, representing the president for some official engagement. And this, well, I say it's quite true from their reports. It could be not, because we saw that the last time when the Super Falcons came with the cup, we saw the president who received them himself. And when we had the Tigres who came to also bring in their own award, the medal home, but we couldn't find the president. Rather, we saw the vice president, Kashim Shettima, who stood for him. So from this claim, I can't really tell if the president is truly bedridden, because the president I saw on that day doesn't really look like somebody that is, he could be sick, yes, at least he's already aged, so we could have this old sickness coming in. But that's the truth. We have the special advisor to the president on information, that's Bayo Ononuga, who had disclaimed that the president is not sick, because the ICIR says that even they had an insider at the Aso Rock who had actually cancelled, that the president had cancelled all the schedule for the week. Who is the insider, first of all? We need to ask who is the insider that is giving this information.
They won't give you the source.
All right. So, but this Onobayo Ononuga says that no, the president is not sick. The president is strong, and as it stands, he was in his office as at August 5th, because he was with him. And when he was asked the question on why is it that the president had cancelled all his schedule for the week, he says that the president has the option to work from anywhere. He could work from home. And presently, we are even in the era of, working remotely, doing hybrid mode of operation of work. So it's not necessarily that
working from home.
well, that's the stand. So we can't really, just shoot the shot that the president is critically healed, right?
I'm even chuckling because when you started this story, you said I have some beautiful stories for you. I was expecting one grant or something, and then you said with UN, Ukraine, and Russia.
Beautiful stories.
How is that beautiful, my sister? But I mean, it is what it is, and let's see what the Guardian has, so that we can move to our hot topic for today. I will just take a few stories and wrap this segment. It says from Broad Street to Atlantic City, congestion, asset depreciation push HNI businesses to echo Atlantic City. U.S. condemns killing of Christians in Nigeria, vows decisive action. Well, the story that really interests me that I will just wrap this segment with is an initiative from the governor of Akwa Ibom State. So I want to speak from a very positive angle because we've had some news this morning that has made our blood to boil unusually. But this one here is from the governor. He has released the sum of 492 million naira to 1,187 youths to support them in trading, farming, and equipment, stressing that the massive grant was to encourage entrepreneurship among youth in the state. And of course, she showed the breakdown and everything. And the only comment I have as regards this is, I see a lot of initiative tailored towards young people. From the government level, that seems to be focused on what will I call it now? Sectors like entrepreneurship, farming. There was even this particular conversation we had about skills to work. I've forgotten how is it S2P or something, for young people where they would introduce them to farming, to agriculture. Maybe because they feel like young people are usually they are not usually tilting towards that area.
Everybody wants to be a tech bro.
Exactly. But I'm even thinking that there's a way we can balance both. Because if you want to encourage and do something as worthy as this, you also have to consider the interest of people so that your money is not being wasted. Because if you put me, for example, in this kind of industry, I might have some resistance before I'll eventually come to play and work with you. So I think that, yes, all these initiatives make sense, but we can balance it. We can have some of our youth and young people that were training in other relevant... Well, agriculture is very relevant. It's definitely very relevant. But there are some other globally recognized skills that we can be much more involved in. Instead of just making it locally, we can take them abroad, sponsor scholarship and everything, instead of farming, trading, and equipment. Please don't get me wrong. I think it's a great one.
It's a great
but
one.
we need to
but I
balance
understand the fact that you
everything.
said that we should focus on other sectors, other areas that the youth are actually in.
Exactly. And I think it's a great initiative from the governor of Akwa Ibom. We need to be seeing more things like this from a number of governors. And as he has said, a massive grant, 492 million naira. We hope it gets to the 1,000.
We hope it gets to all of them. And the equipment are also being provided. It's not just giving them the basic tool and just... We have grown beyond the normal hoe and axe we use on farms. And
Very true.
We need big machineries. We need big farming equipment that can be used to also get a massive return during the harvest.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is where we wrap up the papers this morning. When we come back, we're heading straight to our hot topic for today, and you do not want to miss this. If you have any comment on any of the stories that we've discussed today, please let us know on our YouTube page, or you can drop a call. I want to hear your voice this morning. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Our topic today is on the newest government initiative. It says government launches loan scheme for university staff, free healthcare for retirees. And today we're looking at these two new welfare programs announced by the federal government, policies that, if implemented effectively, could reshape the financial and health security of thousands of Nigerians. The first is the Tertiary Institution Staff Support Fund, TISSF, aimed at providing low-interest loans to lecturers and non-academic staff in universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, covering personal housing and family needs. The second is a free healthcare scheme for low-income retirees under the contributory pension scheme designed to eliminate out-of-pocket medical costs for eligible pensioners. Now, both initiatives announced just weeks apart have been welcomed by some as overdue welfare measures, while others are questioning whether the funding, execution, and monitoring mechanisms are strong enough, especially with inflation hovering around 33%. So today we'll explore the promise, the potential, the challenges, and real impacts these policies could have on education workers, retirees, and the broader Nigerian economy. All right, my ladies, how do you feel about this particular conversation? Are you excited about it?
I think it's a laudable one to start with, aside from the loan part, but I still think it's a laudable one. If, federal government, let me use, a very common word, if federal government is offering a discount on loans, so I think it's a better one than having to be dragged, maybe through banks and all of that. I think it's a laudable one. However, we will open more about it.
Okay, so firstly, I want to understand this particular initiative, because I feel like sometimes, in recent time, we notice across different sectors, when there seems to be criticism on that sector, like everybody's turning their attention and their eyes, there seems to be one messiah kind of initiative that just springs up from somewhere. And because as Nigerians, we're used to quick fixes. We just want something to make us, let's go through the next 2 days. Do you understand? I think that's even what happens with strike actions. You see people come out to strike. We don't go agree. Give them 2 days. Let them give 100K to to the high and mighty. And everybody is feeling like they have their stuff set. So I'm wondering if this particular scheme, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's actually just filling the gap, or is addressing the issues that needs to be addressed? Let me start with Chioma on this.
So I would say we give them a benefit of the doubt, okay? Because I had my doubts with Nail Fund, and so far Nail Fund is doing well. So if this fund is, if they come up with it and say, okay, we're really going to do it, I think, okay. I'm in a space where I want to start liking my country very much. So, yeah, let's give them that benefit of doubt. So I think, like you said, it's a very laudable initiative, right? Even though I have my reservations as well, but we'll get there.
All right. How about you, Triumph?
Just like I said, I think is okay. Rather than, at least for some people, that means, like, if they eventually follow through, like they said, I think it's a laudable one. Because some of these people, now, the second part of the initiative is given, like, for the low-income retirees. Some of them don't even have access to some of these pensions that we talk about. Some of them, the kind of access that they have to their pension is, like, very, very little. So I think if they can come up with it, and if they can stick to what they are saying, aside some other things that we'll have to talk about, but let's give them a benefit of doubt.
All right, goodness. Somebody's giving benefit of doubt. I like the positivity here.
Okay, as for me, concerning the loan scheme for the lecturers in the public universities, that's a very good one. But where my question, and I'll be drawing my eyebrow, is how free is the low income for the retirees, right? We know we have healthcare systems. Let's be honest, this is Nigeria. We go to the healthcare system, it is free, but we still get to pay. So if you are saying you are giving the retirees low expense in terms of their health, that is free healthcare to low income retirees, how free is it going to be? Hope it's not that when they get to the healthcare center, then they'll be asking, Madam, Oga, you need to go and look for blood bank. You need to go and buy this. You need to go and buy that. Because we are saying it is free, meaning every services, everything they need there should be given for free. So they shouldn't even be paying anything because they are even retirees.
Well, you guys have spoken very well. But I don't want to be the pessimistic person. So I'm wondering if I say my own point
it's
now.
Okay.
It's
very okay, my dear.
It's okay.
But I think firstly, like when Chairman was discussing behind the scene, we concentrated a lot on some things that look like quick fixes. In the education sector, for example, these staffs, these retirees, or let me even talk about that whole pension thing, starting with police officers and how Showore came out to clamor, for how ridiculous their pension amount actually is. And I don't know the follow-up to that story, if people, if the necessary bodies had to do a review on things like that. So maybe it was even inherent, or no, that's not the word, it's eminent for this particular sector. So they're not trying to cover it up, because I think that the education sector has had it for too long.
Yeah.
It has had it for too long to have things that seem like a pink box solution to us, something to make us look like, oh, there's something pretty awaiting us. If you look at this sector, you are talking about loans. How are they going to pay for these loans? Yes, it's what they put it now?
Low interest.
Low interest loans. But how will they exactly pay for these loans? They're firstly clamoring for an increase in their salaries. There's an increase across the board in higher institutions, where federal universities, I think for my final year, I was, I've said it many times on this table, from 100 to 300, I was paying meager amount of 20,000. I did not feel like I was paying school fees until final year. They hit us with the hundreds of thousands, and even right now it has even gotten more, and there are stories of it going to be increased. So with the increment in school fees, right, we're not even seeing it with the lecturer's fee. So is it from the same amount that they are earning that you want to use to create a loan?
It's very laughable.
It is laughable. That's why I'm asking the question, that is this scheme just trying to fill up something, or is it really aligning with the realities of the Nigerians' current situation? Because I feel like if you bring up any scheme to want to make lives better for people, you have to consider their present day reality and also the reality of the economy as well. See the way inflation is going up and going down. The money that they will borrow today, who knows what is going to turn up, right, in maybe in 2 years' time. We've heard stories that savings are no longer saving us, because if you put your money in the bank, I mean, I heard one story that 1 million is now like 1 million of 2 years ago is now like 750 or 800,000 for now. So are we considering all these realities before setting this? Do you understand? So I want to know if your answers have changed.
No.
My answers did not change.
For me, right, as much as I commend them for the initiative, like you said, most times what we do is quick fix, right? Now you have thrown this at our faces, and a lot of people are jumping at, oh my God, okay, at least I can have somewhere to borrow. How about you review the pays? ASU keeps going on strike. In fact, they have warned us of a looming strike coming up, right? How about you give in to the demands and then leave them to their faith? You can charge them whatever, but just give them what they want, right? Rather than, this is drawing them into debt. And you know what debt pressure does to people. Yes. And like we cited, inflation is at 33% now. So imagine the money you borrow now. Think about when and how to pay back. Forget the low interest anything. Let's even remove the interest. You collect a loan of one, exactly. You collect 1 million naira loan. How much is your pay? They are owing you salary, by the way. So when do you pay it? How do you pay it? You're feeding family. You're paying your child's school fees as well. So all of these things, how are we even, okay, let's leave that aside. Considering that I call it a quick fix, let's assume it's been implemented. How do we monitor, right? Do we have the data of the people it gets to? What is the disbursement plan, right? So a lot of questions are begging answers here, and I think they should give us a proper rundown. How do we even know the people, that the money will get to the people that really need it and not get cut off on the way? Do you understand? Yeah. So we need both accountability. When you disburse, publish names of people that got it. Let's know. Okay, until you got money, what did you do with it? Because now, to even hold the people collecting it accountable, some people will collect the loan and use it for something else, right? And you come and cry foul. Do you understand?
Wait, are you saying that they should be giving this loan for a specific reason?
Not really, right?
Can I use the loan for my child's wedding? It's loan.
For your child's wedding.
Yes, now.
So how do you want to pay
We're talking
back?
about the upkeep of their families.
How do you want to pay back?
The wedding is upkeep.
Actually, as a 65-year-old lecturer, I've worked
Do you
so
know
hard.
how much is bride price?
But it's a loan. It's loan.
It's
loan.
loan. From the government,
Well,
I have worked.
I think
Loan does not have
if I'm
any
supposed,
tag name
yes,
for it.
there
to be
isn't
used for
a tag,
anything.
but I think if I'm speaking for the government, which I'm not, but I'm just speaking from that light, when you collect loans like that, it's more, you borrow though. So you want to make sure you make the best out of that loan, right? And as you're using it, be thinking of how to pay back. Because
So if I'm getting
She's
it right,
representing
Shoma,
the government
this
this
particular
morning.
specific loan
Yeah.
shouldn't just be a frivolous one. where
Yeah,
people are using it
don't
for
make it
anything.
I mean, whenever you
frivolous.
collect a loan, it's not supposed to be frivolous
Exactly.
in the first place. Like, collecting loan is not supposed to be a frivolous thing.
But this loan is supposed to be a relief for people that do not even have enough money to sort
is a
their
loan.
personal needs.
exactly. So the loan is augmenting for the gap that the salaries are not making up for.
That is why, I am saying that the loan, you know, everything that they are designing now, I feel like it is supposed to be a benefit while doing the right thing, while paying the right salaries. It is not supposed to be that we are supposed to be using the loan to complement or to adjust or to patch, to take care of the gap that you're supposed to fill. So I just think that, you know, the federal government on their end, I mean, do the needful when it comes to paying your lecturers, you know, the staffs and all of that. Pay them, then do all these things. It's supposed to be like benefits. You're working somewhere. The benefits, not that the one, you know, what is my actual right, you're taking it away from me, which is my salary. You're not supposed to be telling me that, okay, you can imagine that you're working somewhere and they are telling you that, oh, I'm not going to be paying you as much.
You can
But
take loan,
you can say, it doesn't make any sense.
Now we're
Even
seeing the
the-
picture.
It doesn't make any sense. That
Taking
is
out
why
the loan itself will also take time because obviously they won't even give you
process.
instantly.
that
Yes,
is
you
why
have to
I'm
go through
even
a
saying
process.
that, I mean, it's a good one. However, do the needful on the other end. It's not that maybe that's the only thing, right?
All right, so we have to take a short break now. When we come back, we have some comments that I would love to read out and then open up this conversation even more. Our viewers would love to hear your thought and your own perspective as regards this initiative. So please stay with us. We'll be right back shortly. All right, welcome back, viewers. Thank you for sticking with us. Today, our hot topic is centered on, you know, the federal government's initiative to launch a low-interest loan for lecturers across Nigerian universities. We have some comment here on our YouTube. This one is it's a goody goody comment for the goody goody girl here, and that's from Kehinde Ogunbi. He says, "Goody goody." I've said goody goody like 5,000 times now. My favorite person. I'm always rooting for you. I'm super proud of you, and I love you. Thank you so much, Kehinde,
Thank you so much.
for rooting for goodness and for watching our show. Please comment also on what you think about this interest loan. So
very
yes,
necessary.
now let's move over to talking about the bigger picture. Because even if we criticize some initiatives, we found out that what will happen is still gonna happen. I think, in fact, when they say initiative, what they want to launch, it's already in the book. They're already planning. They already planned to, you know, start running. So let's talk about what we can envisage as a proper method to which this particular loan can become effective across board. And I'm going to paint the story of the NEL Fund. Whilst you were saying that you appreciate that, you know, NEL Fund is a great initiative from the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's part, and a lot of students, I think I even watched one video where some students from a northern university, they were around their hostels and they were just singing and, you know, praising and saying, oh, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, thank you so much. I have friends personally that have benefited from the NEL Fund loan and everything, and I think she gets this monthly alert.
Stipend.
It's stipend, it's alert. Which one is stipend? That alert feels rich. She gets this monthly alert and it's very commendable.
Yeah.
But there's also some stories that said that, of course, throughout the Nigerian setup, things happen in the sense that this money is siphoned, especially when it comes, I mean, when it is about to flow into these students, which is very ridiculous, because we are clamoring for solution. The solution then comes, and then we find people spoiling the solution that we're clamoring for. So we suspect that this might happen with this particular loan initiative, where I feel like maybe some lecturers, might not have access to these loans, because politics play a lot, even in the education space. There's a lot of hierarchy.
Everywhere.
There's a lot of hierarchy with these people. There are some lecturers that are regarded as the A-list. Some other junior lecturers that are probably senior lecturers, exactly. Some junior lecturers that probably they even need this loan more, because other lecturers that are senior, sometimes they even have more money because they do other things apart from lecturing. I think I know some people. I'm spreading my question, but I want you to have context. I knew some lecturers that were law lecturers, but beyond that, they had a lot of money that was not from the education.
Right.
So what method are we going to be putting in place to ensure that people who need this loan are getting it, and we're not seeing politics playing? What kind of solution do you
I think that actually boils down with personal ethics, that is your honesty. So people that are put in charge of this to disburse this loan and also to coordinate probably names of lecturers that need this particular norm should be honest and should be fair in terms of their judgment. So you shouldn't say, oh, because there's this kind of popular lecturer in the university or because of the position he or she is in the university, then you create a very seamless way of this person having access to the loan. While lecturers that are not to that position, like probably you just ridicule them or you keep postponing them. We do that a lot in the government industries, right? To say, oh, come back tomorrow. Oh, the person that is supposed to do this is not around. Come back tomorrow. But if you see a professor, let's say a very big professor in the university, comes there and says, well, he or she, immediately it will be, the person will be attended to. So I think the person should be honest, the person should be fair, there should be equity, and there should also be the fear of God in it when you're doing that.
Let me hear you.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I can't trust these people with honesty. I'm so sorry. I can't trust them with that. So what I would say is work with these universities. Have like a list of the lecturers, what they earn, you know, the A-list, you know, the juniors, associates, you know, all of those things. And then you know how to channel these things. Because, listen, money brings out your true character. You think you're humble, you think you have honesty.
You know, there's not how we'll still have somebody
yes,
there.
we will, but let's not trust these people's honesty, right? So I can't even trust your own or my own. Or do you understand? It's money we're talking about. So let's work with these universities. And then also, I would say, apply. Everybody should apply. Let it be a fair game.
Yes,
okay? Because the A-list might need it for surgery. Do you get? And the other one might need it for feeding. So who are you going to consider more? Either way, somebody will die if they don't have the money. Do you understand? Yeah. So a fair game. Apply if you need it, and then let there not be politics involved. Give it to whoever you think is due it. Yeah.
How are you trying?
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about, the fact that we can have, you know, independent auditors. However, you would still need somebody from the school. But if we have independent auditors coming to the school to actually conduct these things, and I think that if we have independent auditors, they know how to take care of these things. They know how to take care of these things. So I think that they can actually make use of these people to ensure a transparent process. And the second thing that I was going to mention is, you mentioned application. So I mentioned actually using, you know, using all these tracking platforms. I mean, the world is moving digital. So we can have digital applications just for this purpose, where they can apply. Honestly, we can have all these like applications where they can apply. Everybody, free, fair, tracking platforms, you know, to actually see that this thing is getting to people. And it's not the one that, you know, you're applying and then you can apply for to one person will apply. Nigerians. Nigerians just have a way of coming through with themselves. So I just think that these are the things that they should put in place when it comes to trying to achieve a transfer. Even though we know that the Nigeria of today, even with application, even with to achieve something very transparent and honest is
it's a thing.
But don't you think that if you have a digital platform, we're also going to be having another arising issue coming on? Then, yes. So you could have put in, you could have put in a particular request that you need a particular loan, right, digitally. I'm not saying the idea is totally bad, but we know our country, you put in for a loan, right? Just like we have some issues with some bank issues where you send a particular money, you're debited. As you understand that you think, oh, the receiver has received the money, but whereas the receiver has not received. So now let's imagine this thing comes into play like that digitally. As a lecturer, I've applied for a loan, and they sent me a message that, oh, they've sent the money and have not received it. So that would be another issue. And that would because there will also be a lack of trust that, no, you've received it, I've not received it, you've received it, you gone.
That would also bring me to mention that, you know that there is a particular banking platform that came into picture and, you know, took away all the other banking platforms that we have because they actually proved to us that you can actually run online apps that the rate of the risk will be reduced.
Yes.
And you all know the kind of what I'm talking about. If they want to actually develop, because those people actually proved to us that all these things are
they also did have a fault because
that's why I'm saying that but the difference is like clear. The difference is clear. And then the percentage is like at a reduced one.
Because we need to move on with the next thing. I'm going to agree with you at this point because if we're going manually, you're going to have more risk. There is no platform that you want to use that wouldn't have risk. But we're trying to reduce
it
and lower our risk of, embezzlement, our risk of a lot of fraudulent activity. So I think that the digital way is going to work. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm also thinking about some lecturers that are not digitally inclined as well. It will shock you that in some universities, that's why some of them, when there are options of online lectures, I know a particular lecturer that really didn't like this whole idea of online lectures with the Zoom class. So when they go online and the students are on Zoom or Google Meet and be like, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And everything. You can't blame them. These are people that are really aged. We have a system that makes people forge their age. So some of them are meant to have been retired. But because their certificate or whatever, all their details are still showing 60, whereas internally they are 82. Do you understand?
You won't also blame them now. The economic and the country also made them do that.
Let's not be using that card for wrong behavior.
No,
anything that is wrong is wrong.
Behavior,
Economy or no
it is
economy,
it's
actually just wrong. So we have a lot of things to consider, but I will still tilt towards the digital area. That's how we can avoid fraudulent activities, embezzlement. At least I know that the person I'm interacting with is technology that
your child
will not
can help you.
Yeah,
You cannot apply
exactly.
yourself. Your son can help you. Your daughter can help you.
Exactly. But you know, we've not answered this question. Where is this money coming from? In the most simplest form.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of allocation for education every year. In fact, beyond yearly, I think quarterly at some point, we allocate. So can let us answer that question in the most simplest way? Because I'm looking at the long-term vision of this. I've said it many times, we don't want short, quick fixes. If this comes up, right, we use some of the money to sort this. How do you envisage them sustaining this particular initiative? Where do you think this money is going to come from?
I think, we have allocations and all of that, right? I think if we can do like short-term budget reallocations, right, from what we already have. I know, of course, in our budgets, education has a percentage.
It's a ridiculous one.
Yeah, and then, so I think we can also
Include them.
replan some sectors that, I know every sector needs money, but some are more outrageous than, some need it more. So I think a short-term reallocation, if we collect from here, I think it can actually work.
I think I just even want to talk about the allocation that goes into education. I'm sorry I can't bring out the figure now, but I remember the one we read on Friday from the First Lady. Our own personal allocation in that sense. I think she spent, Chima's eyes is giving. I think she used about 1 billion, I can't remember the exact figures, across different sectors. So the pie chart was showing how some money went to internally displaced persons, different sectors. And I was seeing hundreds of millions in number, like it was large. But when it came to the education even from her, now this is not even government, this is from her
personal pocket.
Personal pocket, yeah. It was showing, I think, 100 million or so. It was really lower compared to the others. And I'm like, oh, this is just the pattern we have seen.
Yeah,
and that's what we follow. When it comes to education, we put meagre amount as an allocation. It's saddening, don't you think? I think we really need to move. I don't know why we keep staying in this sector. We see some other sectors. I mean, think of any sector in Nigeria. You will hear the biggest amount of money allocated. Look at the airport they wanted to innovate. 721 billion naira to innovate airports. Yet in our education sector, we are seeing meagre amount of money put into this. So if it's from that meagre amount of money that they want to use for this loan or for the healthcare, for
sector,
exactly,
the
they are joking. It's not going to work. It will even make them more agitated because it means that you'll be straining other areas. For example, if the money was also meant to be for infrastructure, it was meant to be for infrastructure, and you have reduced it because you want to give loan to lecturers, you will have more problems than you envisage. So where are we going to get this money from? I think it's even a good one because if you have more schemes like this, it will pinch you to want to increase whatever allocation you have been putting there. And as we wrap up the show, I think we should just ask or answer this question very, very quickly. Who do you think should be responsible, for managing this? Because there's always question between the government and private, individuals or private organizations. Do you think that the government should not necessarily be so involved with this? They should just leave it over. Yes, we're talking about digital platform. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of the management itself. Should we expect private individuals to do this or the government themselves to handle this directly?
I think it should be a merger. If you're giving somebody your money, you cannot allow another person to look after the money. That's your money.
Okay.
You once in a while put eye. Do you understand? Because he has to come back. So I think it should be a merger. It should be a committee, right, of both the government, data guys, the universities, you know, a collaboration to ensure the smooth run and that you return the money
Checks and
eventually.
balances,
Yes.
transparency.
Well, for me, the same thing. There should also be a collaboration between the two parties, so both the public and the private entities, just like the way we had in the Punch newspaper concerning the e-tax system. So they collaborated with other telecommunication bodies to ensure smoothness in the service. So, and also one last thing before I know you get that. So for the healthcare system, though we didn't talk much on it, but please, since you are giving them a free healthcare system for the retirees, do ensure that every healthcare system, even in the local government, are giving the retirees the free healthcare system indeed, not the one that they will have to still pay from their pockets.
I think that healthcare part, we're going to open it up later
Right.
because I think it's even a broader one on its
It
own.
is.
We
Yes.
can't mix it with the whole loan thing, and we've spoken beautifully well on this table. I'll let Triumph have our last word before we wrap up.
Okay, so the last thing that I would just like to say is just a call to, as always, I'm always calling out the federal government.
They will soon call you out.
Please let us follow through with whatever promises that we make to people. One thing that I have learned about making promises is that when you make promise to someone, I put everything. I am expecting. I am open. I am planning.
Aspiration.
You said 1 million. I am already thinking about where I will put, the whole 1 million and all of that. So then you now go quiet after the whole thing. If you're not going to do it, please don't make the promise. It's fine.
My own is different. Don't plan with money where you never see.
You know.
That is the quote somebody told me. So in case lecturers are thinking,
Don't build castle in the air.
don't plan
Honestly.
yet. Let's just be working with the money
Let's
we
just
have
be
in our
open.
account. All right, as we've heard today, the government's new welfare programs carry a lot of promise. But as with every good policy, the proof is in the implementation. Like Triumph said, a well-intentioned plan without proper execution is like a bucket with holes. It can hold water for long. The hope is that this initiative will not only lift the financial and health burdens of our educators and retirees, but also restore confidence in public welfare system. For now, Nigerians will be watching closely, not just for the launch, but for the long-term delivery. And this is where we wrap up today's show. Ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch us again tomorrow by 8 a.m. to 9. Have a great day.